You
I mean,
you
dang,
hit the
okay.
nail on the head, so I ain't.
You're
He's
just
like,
going
I ain't
against.
even gonna argue.
They're
He's
not
like,
a
that's
home run
truth.
hitting
No,
team. They are just their pitching is as good as the Nationals, which is not something
their
you generally.
bullpen is better. Their starting
Oh
pitchers
yeah, for sure. No, I
are
mean the starting pitchers, but like not something you generally see in the AL is really top tier starting pitchers. You usually just see that in your hitting lineup. So to see it
I
in
still
the
But
think it
I
was
AL
a
as
mean,
well,
that can
surprise to
go.
see the Rays as the wild card. It
yeah,
was a surprise.
I do think that the Athletics had a slightly better chance, but they really weren't gonna. I just didn't think the Athletics were gonna win.
No, I didn't either, but I don't think the Rays were really the season they were pretty good, but in the playoffs they're looking pretty bad. So I truly believe the Rays do not deserve to be in the playoffs.
I mean, if the Rangers and Red Sox hadn't fall off the whole map, probably wouldn't be.
But I hate Boston. Yankees fans hate Boston. Boston hates New York.
It's a
So
mutual thing.
Must have been a
I'm
really
glad that
bad year last year for you.
I'm glad Boston's not in it.
I bet.
There'd be
They'll be
blood
back.
if they
They'll be
played each
back
other.
next year. They'll be back. Trust me. Their team is too good to not be back next year.
I don't
I hope they
know.
fall off the edge of the
The
earth.
thing is, baseball's not one of those games where it's like, see, I don't believe baseball has a cap.
No,
No.
it doesn't.
So it's like players will just like straight up dip if they see there's more money somewhere else.
I mean, why
I
do you
mean,
think
that's
the
what
Dodgers
Harper
have
did.
sustained? Exactly. Why do you think the Dodgers, the Phillies, any big market team can sustain themselves? The Yankees, the
Yeah,
Astros can sustain themselves for so long. It's because they have the cap. There's no cap, and they have the what do you the funding or whatever it's called, the
oh yeah, they get
sports
their
term for it. They have the market money to be able to pay top tier dollar to all the teams, all the players. So I mean, of course they're gonna have the money, and there's no cap in the baseball. So I mean, it's
it's
really just
unique, and I think maybe I mean this is just me, but maybe that's what kind of hurts it because it's like baseball doesn't get it's America's pastime, right?
yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, if you think about it, maybe that's why it's losing viewers over gaining is because it's like it's the same. It's like we talked about a while ago. It's always the Patriots. It's always the Warriors. The past few years. I mean, maybe that's why baseball is already losing people because it's always the Yankees. It's always the Dodgers. Always making it or some.
I think Cole
big
can
team.
attest to that, but also I think Cole's mentioned this before. It's just super boring to watch until the playoffs.
You
That
know
is
what's gonna
true.
happen.
Baseball heats up in the playoffs. It definitely
Like
gets
in
a
the
Oh
lot
playoffs
yeah.
is
better.
great to watch. I'll watch every game in the playoffs, but like 90% of the season, unless something miraculous happens, like with the Nats who started off terribly and then still made the playoffs, unless something crazy happens, it's really not interesting to watch every game.
Unless I get like a no hitter or perfect game notification, why
Yeah.
bother?
I mean, yeah,
And
it's what 162 games too.
That's
exactly
so
it's
many fucking games to watch.
it starts in March and it doesn't end till October. That's a long ass season. That's longer than any other sport.
You got 8 months of baseball, and they're playing
Pretty
three,
much,
four
and then
games.
yeah, exactly.
Series.
And then when the playoffs end, spring training happens like 2 months later.
Spring
That's
training
like a
starts what
shortest off
February.
season. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they do have a very
Because April is basically opening day.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. So I mean, like it's you got preseason spring, you got preseason in March, and then you play April. It's like a really long season, and then people get injured over season. I mean, look, Christian Yelich. Do you think do you really think Brewers fans? I mean, granted, if they won the wild card game, obviously they wouldn't care. But do you think the Brewers fans really care that much after Yelich went down? Not
Mm,
as much.
no,
Their star
because
player went out.
Yelich was carrying that team.
I know, which is what
their
I'm
hope.
saying.
I think he's saying their
Their
hope
hope
just got
died
shot.
is when Yelich went out. Now,
Oh,
if they had won the wild card, sure, they'd care a lot more. But they didn't win the wild card, and so I mean, they probably didn't expect to win the wild card until they saw us the Nats, and they're like, we have a chance now.
They
But
probably went in like, yeah, we're done.
I mean, once Yelich went down, baseball to me, I see like when I look at teams, you generally think of one player. It's like with every sport. You look at a team, you think of their star player. Well, with baseball, because there's so many people on an active roster and there's so many people who get swapped in and out like football, it's kind of unless you know the person, like it's kind of hard to keep up one star player for each team. Like if I looked at the Cardinals, not knowing the Cardinals lineup that well, I can't think of a star player besides Matt Carpenter because I've only heard him because he's a veteran. The Braves, I only know Ronald Acuna Jr. And the
No,
Dodgers.
no, you know Josh Donaldson.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
well,
they
yeah,
did
but
get
he's been
him.
there forever.
No, he hasn't.
No, he didn't.
Well, not
This
on
is
the
his
Braves,
second
but he's
year.
been in the MLB forever.
Oh
Though.
yeah. But he's probably no the what you said his name just a second ago.
Acuna.
Acuna.
Yeah. He's by far, if I remember correctly, this is only like his either second or third year in the pros,
Yeah, I
and
think
he
it's
is
his
a
second.
freaking monster.
Oh, he's insane. And that's my point. It's like with baseball, the stars don't really shine kind of because you play so many games and you get to see like them
Yeah.
every single day and it's not like it's hard to explain but the star players don't get to shine as much as they do in other sports. Like in football, you only
got
see them once a week.
and so that's
And
your.
so
Like
when
they
they
go
see them,
hard
you have to watch them because you know they're not going to play for another week, right?
or something.
Yep.
Like
And
that,
in
yeah.
basketball, it's a much shorter season, like 82 games, I think, 84.
82.
I don't know. It's like half the season. So
It's
82 games, it's like
82.
half the season. And so you get to see them once every 3 days or once every 2 days, unless you have a back to back, which is rare. But like you also, it's 5 people on the court. So you get to see the star players like pretty much the whole time. On baseball, you barely get to see it unless they're at bat.
Well,
So
that's the thing too, because everybody likes watching offense. So baseball,
exactly.
baseball
is
sometimes a
very
defense or like a
slow
pitcher's
offense
dominating you.
in playoffs.
Mhm.
So, which they're very capable of doing, as you can see, they have a good hitting lineup. But the Dodgers obviously do too. And if they're pitching, like Kershaw came out and he didn't look very good. His first inning was really bad,
Yep.
and kind of buttoned it up after that. But if you look at like Dodgers as a whole, they basically are the Nationals just better, and like their bullpen is significantly better, and I guess they have more depth in their bench as well, which is really hard as to Nats because if you're gonna be the Nats and playing them because you can get through 5 to 6 innings with your starter, but they have to be pretty damn dominant like Strasburg was, and then you have to hope your bullpen doesn't blow your lead if you manage to get one. That's pretty much what the Nats have to hope for in the playoffs in order to win.
They just gotta get a little bit lucky.
I do think the one thing that is their advantage is that they're gonna have 2 games with taking one in LA. They're gonna have 2 games at home, and if they can at least win one of them, I think they have a damn good chance at Game 5. Yeah, it's gonna be an elimination game in LA, and they're gonna be rock solid because the Dodgers going out in the first round would shock literally everyone. But I really think as long as they can win like this first one, they have a massive amount of momentum, and at least the Nats fans who are in DC will not want to have to go back to LA.